And good morning to you from Interlaken. And yeah, it's a beautiful Friday morning, and I think the sun's going to come up and it should be a lovely run. So I'm flying home this afternoon, but it's not from anywhere near here, it's from Basel. So the job we got to do this morning is get the 8 o'clock train from Interlaken Ost and get to Basel. So yeah, that's the plan. Should be a nice little run on a Swiss intercity, and certainly we're going to get a good start because we're going right up there, right by the lake. So yes, I was watching the trains go by there yesterday, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that little run. Hopefully it'll brighten up. It's only about 7:15 now, so yeah, let's get down the station, have a little wander around, and hopefully the train will be there. So we'll get on board and get settled in. I'll see you on the train. I've had a very pleasant couple of nights here in Interlaken. The previous day was a non-travel day, and I had an absolutely wonderful time walking around the shore of the Thunersee and generally just recharging my batteries after quite a lot of travel around Switzerland. You can enter Interlaken Ost station via the front entrance or walk onto the open platforms here at the terminating platform end of the Berner Oberlandbahn. Now, I didn't go up the BOB on this visit, as I don't think I would have done it justice after so many busy days travelling. Just leaving is a BLS stopping service that is setting off around Lake Thunersee. BLS runs various train services in the region and also some bus services, and also lake boats on both the See and the Thunersee, as we shall see. The BOB train in the platform here is the 0734 for Grindelwald. The other meter gauge train is a Zentralbahn service like the one I arrived on a couple of days ago.
As the second hand reaches the top, it just slows down enough so that it actually stops at the top, letting the minute hand do its thing alone. Isn't that pleasing?
Right, we'll stop clock watching and let's have a look at the rest of the station. Well, just like many of the other Swiss stations I've seen this week, the original building has a modern concrete appendage featuring an underpass, and this will pop you out near the main station approach. There's been a station here since 1874, but this terminal dates from 1917 and it's now a listed building. Inside there's a small waiting area and ticket office for the various railways that are operating from this station. But it's not just railways. So, let's go back along the underpass and firstly check if our train is on schedule, and of course it is. It isn't just a station, because up the steps it shows you just how handy we are for the BLS lake boats that ply their trade from here on the See. You can ride these boats with an Interrail ticket, but they were actually not running on the days I was here. Right, it's time to go back to the station and await the arrival of our train. And whilst we wait and contemplate the beautiful mountains all around the station, let's have a look at today's route. The train will take a short ride to Interlaken West before swinging northwest along the shore of the Thunersee with a stop at Spiez. Here, passengers can change for trains going south to Brieg and under the Alps to Italy, and also going west to Montreux on the Golden Pass line. But we will carry on to the north end of the lake at Thun and then continue on to Bern, where the train will reverse. There's then some fast running to Alten before we cut north under the hills with a final stop at Liestal before getting into Basel SBB at just 1 minute past 10 AM. So that makes it about 2 hours to complete the 160 kilometres or 99 miles. And with over 10 minutes to go before departure, here's our train chugging in, made up of a Class 460 electric locomotive hauling a rake of IC 2000 double-deck coaches. And I must say, I love the Pininfarina styling of the 460s. Well, we'll turn left and the lower saloon looks great, but of course, I'll be heading upstairs. I've already reviewed these IC2000 on the channel before, and the social sofa area is a very nice touch. And there's also a reasonable, if not quite ample, amount of luggage space on this upper deck. Mind you, there is space between the seats too for luggage. I'm going to make myself comfortable in this front coach, which, whilst it's first class, is also billed as the business coach, and we'll see why just a bit later on. Well, let's have a quick seat tour. And the seats are, as always with SBB, excellent. The doubles have a retractable central armrest, and the big tables fold out very nicely. Under the table is the Swiss-style power socket and the mini bin, and above are reading lights that have touch switches, and above is one of the nicest features, which is the overhead luggage racks, not because they're large or spacious, but because that lighting creates a wonderful, reflective, warm glow into the cabin. And off we go, heading out of the station, across the road and across the River Aar, which runs between the two lakes that I suppose give Interlaken its name. The Harderbahn funicular will lift you up to 1,305 metres above sea level, but it doesn't open for operation until April. And just like its sister railway station, Interlaken West also doubles as a quay for the BLS lake boats that run over the Thunersee. And beyond the station, it's right along here that I walked the previous day, and it was a lovely walk along the Aar and then around the lake. It's a shame it's a bit cloudy, but Thunersee really is lovely anyway. The lake water with the white-tipped mountains all around really does create quite a special place. I'm so pleased I had the chance to come and experience this for myself, and I encourage you to do so too. Now there's a few intermediate stations along the lake shore, but we'll leave that to the BLS train service as we will run fast to Spitz. But with this view, I'm actually in no hurry to get there. As I said in the map chat, Spitz is a junction station for the other lines that radiate out from here on the lakeside. And after that station pause, we can get back to the lakeshore running. And by the looks of it, I don't think Guat is actually an operational station anymore. And it is 8:30 AM at Thun, and the good folk of the town are lined up in fair numbers to make their journeys north towards the city. And there's a couple of BLS units no doubt making the Taktfar plan connections here. The branch going off to the right here will take the rider up through Steffisburg and then stopping at all stations to Bern on what is effectively the slow route to the city. And looking at the timetable, trains from Thun seem to go up one side of the river and then swing through Bern and return to Thun down the other side of the river. And here's why this coach is called business. There's actually a work desk here with 4 chairs. Oh, and alongside the power outlets there's air charge points for your phone. Anyway, as we move into the lowlands, if you can call them that, everything becomes much more industrialised and generally built up. And certainly it looks like we must be coming upon the city of Bern. Here we are in Bern, and I suspect that the train will reverse very quickly indeed and get us on our way. But it doesn't. Actually, there's a 15-minute stopover here, no doubt to fit in seamlessly with the Taktfahrplan, the clock face timetabling. As I noted when I came through here a few days ago from Geneva Airport, the station is definitely in the middle of some modernisation. Still, now we're on our way at 09:05 past the building works at the platforms. And of course the River Aar is never far away. I really love this rose-tinted glow in the cabin. And these are indeed faster lines, and so our Class 460 can wind us up to its top speed of 200 km per hour. Well, it might not be officially what you would call high-speed railway. Indeed, it's no quicker than some lines in the UK. But it is quiet and smooth, and considering it is a double-decker, it's far smoother than the twin decks I rode on from Geneva. As we begin to rejoin the Classic Line, there's a Ralpine rolling highway train. The train is made up of flat wagons where you park your truck and a single coach which combines as a restroom and sleeper coach where the truck drivers ride. This service gets trucks between Germany and Italy across the Swiss Alps, saving time, fuel and the customs delays when crossing Switzerland. The run into Alton, crossing and recrossing the river, is lovely, and the weather certainly has perked up. I'm also reminded that in the previous video of mine which routed through Alton, I received a comment from one of the drivers that works out of Alton saying how interesting it was to hear people's views of the trains and the service. Oh, and look, another clock doing its thing as the minute ticks over. Here's the Ralpine train again, and judging by the time, which is 9:30 on a Friday morning, that is the train that left Italy at midnight and it will arrive in Freiburg at 11:30. So, as we race on to Basel, I did promise that I would look at the tickets and passes in Switzerland and make a few comparisons. So, let's assume you're keen to tour Switzerland for a number of days and take in some of the sights and places. And to make a comparison, I'm going to quote everything in UK pounds sterling, and I'm going to stick with first class because on the trains I think that makes sense. Well, of course, you could do like me and buy an Interrail ticket, and here's a table of the full adult cost of the Global Pass. The benefit of this being that you could use it to actually get to Switzerland from your home country, and, like me, you could also use it in other countries too. But, of course, apart from the odd concession, it is limited to mainline trains and certainly doesn't help you with buses or metros or some of the private Swiss railway companies. If you're going to make your own way to Switzerland, then you could opt for the Interrail One Country Pass for just Switzerland, and then the price goes down significantly. And remember, with Interrail, you can get discounts on those prices if you are 27 or under, or 60 or over. But what about going the whole hog and getting a Swiss travel pass? This really is the gold standard. Yes, you get the trains, but you also get lake boats, metros, buses, and also free or discounted access to many attractions and museums right across Switzerland. Pretty much everything you need, all wrapped into one ticket. Of course, though, the gold standard comes at the price of, well, a lot of gold. I certainly didn't consider it on this trip because there was so much of Switzerland I hadn't seen. The limitations of Interrail over the 6 days I was here wasn't really a problem. However, if I was returning year on year, I think the depth of the Swiss travel pass may then come into its own. Oh, and if all that seems sensible, don't forget, there's also just buying some more regional travel passes. So in the end, have I been any help? Not really. You're gonna have to do the research and make your own choices based on your needs, your desires, and of course, your financial situation. If you book this ticket a month in advance on, say, TrainLine, they are offering a second-class fare of around £30 and a first-class one for £59. So that's not a scary expensive price. And I reckon we get to Basel just 1 minute early at 10 o'clock on the dot. And that leaves me plenty of time to collect my thoughts and make my way to the bus stop for my onward travel to the airport and then home. And here we are at Basel, another almost like completely uneventful journey with Swiss Railways, because it's almost like every journey seems to be uneventful. Everything just goes like clockwork. So yes, I'm here in Basel now, and I'm just going out the front to catch a connecting bus to the airport and then back to the UK. So this is my last little journey in Switzerland for a little while anyway. So if you've come along for the various trips that I've put up on YouTube, thank you very much indeed. And if of course this is your first video that you've seen on Johnny Hoover Travels, thank you for finding me on YouTube, and I hope you've enjoyed this one, because there's many others to look at. So as I said, I'm going to be getting the bus out front here and going off to the airport. So in the meantime, it's goodbye and thank you very much for watching. Oh, and in case I don't come this way again, check out this amazing concourse at Basel. And you've got to love the painted scenes on the walls that are advertising all the wonderful places that the railways can take you to. Thank you so much for joining me on this little trip in Switzerland, and if you haven't seen all the videos from Switzerland, then do click on the playlist on the top right hand corner to rewind some of my previous adventures on the trains. And next week we're going to be straight back down to earth with some budget UK coach travel. Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Switzerland anymore.